It begins with a sound that is simple and brave. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Saying these words is like striking a bell deep inside the heart, a bell that has always been there, waiting to ring. When this bell rings, a bright, steady light begins to grow. Even on a cloudy day, the light does not flicker. It grows with each chant, one breath at a time, one moment at a time. This is what it means to build a high life condition through chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo to call forth the strongest, kindest, most fearless self, and to let that self lead the day. There is a passage from Nichiren Daishonin that says, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is the greatest of all treasures. In plain words, this means that the most valuable thing is not money or status or luck, but the deep, unshakable life force that awakens when chanting these syllables with faith and determination. When a person chants, the mind begins to settle, like a lake after the wind grows calm. Thoughts stop racing. Worries start to shrink. The heart feels wider. The breath feels longer. Then, a small but clear voice inside whispers, I can face this. I can take one more step. This is the first sign of a higher life condition, a quiet courage that does not depend on things outside. The Lotus Sutra teaches that everyone has Buddha nature. This is not a faraway idea. It means that each person holds the seed of wisdom, compassion, and strength, just like a lotus holds its flower even in muddy water. The sutra praises the power of the title itself, the Daimoku, as a direct path to awaken this nature. When the Buddha speaks of the one great vehicle that carries all beings to enlightenment, it is like saying there is a road inside every heart, and the name of this road is Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Chanting is the way to walk that road, step by step, in daily life. Nichiren Daishonin writes that chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo summons the Buddha from within one's life. Picture standing at the door of a house in the dark, feeling cold and unsure. Chanting is like turning on the light inside and opening the door from within. The room fills with a soft, steady glow. Nothing outside has changed yet, but the way the room feels is different. In the same way, a high life condition does not always begin with a change in circumstances. It begins with a change in state. When the inner life rises, even a hard task becomes a training ground, and even a small joy becomes a source of strength. Renge means lotus blossom, which blooms clean in muddy ponds. This image is important. It says that mud is not the enemy. Mud is the place where the lotus takes root. Problems, setbacks, mistakes. These are not stains that ruin life. They are the soil that feeds growth. The lotus does not wait for perfect water to bloom. It blooms because it holds the law of blossoming within. Chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is the act of trusting that this law is working in the deepest part of life. The Lotus Sutra shows this again and again through stories where ordinary people reveal uncommon wisdom simply by aligning with the law of life. In the writings of Tiantai Ji, who explained the Lotus Sutra in great depth, there is a teaching about 3,000 realms in a single moment of life. While the language sounds complex, the heart of it is simple. A single moment holds countless possibilities, and the moment of chanting opens the best of those possibilities. When a person chants with focus, the moment grows larger on the inside. More choices appear. Instead of being trapped by fear, the mind begins to ask, what is the most compassionate step here? What is the most courageous step now? This shift is the engine of a higher life condition. It does not erase difficulty. It gives the power to meet difficulty with wisdom and care. There is a line often quoted from the Daishonin, suffer what there is to suffer, and enjoy what there is to enjoy, and continue chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. These words do not divide life into good and bad days. They invite a way of living, where both joy and pain become fuel for the same forward path. On a good day, chanting deepens gratitude. On a hard day, chanting becomes a lifeline. Over time, the heart learns to hold steady, like a mountain under changing weather. This steadiness is a sign that the life condition has grown higher. The person is not blown away by praise or blame, pleasure or pain. There is warmth and backbone together. Some may wonder, how can simple sounds bring such change? The Buddha taught that all things are connected through cause and effect, and that the deepest causes are made by the mind and heart. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo is called the wonderful law, the rhythm of life itself. Chanting these words is like tuning an instrument back to its true pitch. A guitar left alone goes out of tune. Life is the same. Worries, stress, anger, and doubt pull the strings too tight or too loose. But when chanting begins, each string finds its right tension, and the music of daily life starts to sound clear again. With this clarity comes better choices, kinder words, and braver actions. Nichiren writes that faith is the mother of merit. In simple terms, faith is the trust to sit down and chant even when things look bleak, even when results are not yet visible. This faith is not blind. It grows from experience. A person chants before a tough exam and finds focus returning. Another chants in the middle of grief and finds tears changing into calm. Another chants about work and discovers new energy to learn, new patience with others, new courage to speak honestly. These are small changes at first, but they add up. Like drops filling a bucket, they fill the life with proof. Faith becomes natural, like planting a seed and trusting it will sprout if watered and given light. The Lotus Sutra tells of bodhisattvas who appear from the earth, countless and strong, rising up to protect the law and help all people. This image can be taken as a picture of what happens inside. When chanting, countless good qualities rise from the earth of one's own life: patience, joy, insight, humor, grit. These are the inner protectors. They stand up when called. They do not come because someone else commands them. They come because the deepest self has spoken the name of the law and asked for their help. In this way, chanting grows not dependence, but self-reliance hooked to compassion. Dengyo, the great teacher who carried the Lotus teachings in Japan before Nichiren, praised the sutra as the king of sutras. He saw that its heart is the universal dignity of life. Chanting the title is like carrying that crown into the ordinary day. In a classroom, it becomes respect for self and others. In a workplace, it becomes sincerity and steady effort. At home, it becomes patience and care. When the life condition rises, competition turns into cooperation, anger turns into listening, and fear turns into a plan. The change is not lofty. It is practical, visible, and contagious. Nichiren also writes, "A sword is useless in the hands of a coward. Wisdom works the same way. It must be used." Chanting without action is like sharpening a blade but refusing to cut through confusion. After chanting, it helps to take one clear step. Make a call. Finish a task. Apologize. Ask for help. Start the assignment. These steps, even when small, become proof that inner change is real. Action feeds confidence, and confidence feeds more action. Slowly, the life condition shifts from heavy to light, from stuck to moving, from doubtful to determined. The Lotus Sutra often uses the image of a father guiding his children out of a burning house with skillful means. A higher life condition gives this kind of skill in daily problems. Instead of meeting a problem with panic or despair, the mind asks, what is a wise means here? Sometimes it is silence. Sometimes it is a gentle word. Sometimes it is a firm boundary. When chanting fills the heart, these choices come more naturally. It is not magic. It is alignment with the rhythm of life that holds both courage and care. Nichiren's letters to his disciples are filled with warm, strong guidance. In one letter, he says, "Winter always turns to spring." These words are simple and true. Seasons always turn. When chanting through a winter of loss, sickness, or fear, It helps to remember that spring is not a question, but a promise. A higher life condition is like the first hint of warmth in the cold. It does not end winter at once. It gives the strength to keep walking, keep learning, keep loving, until the season changes. There is also guidance about changing poison into medicine. This means that even the worst experience can become a source of wisdom and compassion. Consider someone who failed at a goal. At first, the failure feels like poison. With chanting, the person can look more carefully and ask, "What did this teach me? How can I help someone else with what I've learned?" Then, the poison begins to turn. It becomes medicine in the form of kindness, patience, better planning, and deeper courage. The Lotus Sutra teaches that all life has this power to transform. Chanting is the heat that starts the change. Some people chant with clear goals: better health, strong grades, a good job, harmony in the family. These goals are good, but something else also happens. While working toward the goal, the person grows. The mind becomes more focused, the heart more generous, the will more steady. Even if the timeline shifts, this growth is real and lasting. Nichiren compared faith and practice to the two wheels of a cart. When both turn, the cart moves. Chanting and action are these two wheels. They carry a person forward, not only toward results, but toward a larger, more capable self. In the Buddha's time, there were many paths. The Lotus Sutra embraced them and led them to one summit, the awakening of all people. Nichiren praised this and taught a direct way to approach it in daily life by chanting the title. This way is democratic, simple, and bold. It does not demand special gifts or secret knowledge. It asks for a sincere heart, a steady practice, and the willingness to keep going. Through this, a high life condition becomes the new normal. Waking in the morning feels like opening a fresh page. Facing problems feels like training. Sharing joy feels natural. When chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, breathing deep and sitting tall, it helps to form a clear vow. A vow is more than a wish. It is a promise to become the kind of person who can create value no matter what. Nichiren often speaks of the power of vow. With a vow, the life condition does not rise and fall with each small wave. It keeps moving toward a wide shore. The vow might be to help others learn, to bring peace to a home, to create art that lifts hearts, to heal the sick, to rebuild trust. Chanting pours strength into that vow, like rain feeding a river. There is a gentle confidence that grows over time. The eyes become softer but clearer. The words become kinder but truer. The back becomes straighter. Friends notice. Family notices. Strangers might notice too. This is not pride. It is the natural glow of a higher life condition. The Daishonin explains that when one embraces this sutra, the protective forces of life gather like friends to support the journey. Sometimes this shows up as timely help, a sudden insight, a new connection, or a closed door that turns out to be a blessing. Gratitude grows because the web of life begins to feel real and close. The Lotus Sutra also shares parables that show the power of faith over time. Seeds do not sprout in one night. They need warmth, water, and light. Chanting provides this threefold care to the seed of Buddha nature. Warmth is compassion for self and others. Water is steady practice. Light is wisdom that grows from experience and study. With these, the seed becomes a sprout, then a stem, then a flower, then a field. The field is a high life condition spread across the whole day. It shows up in calm mornings, thoughtful choices, honest effort, laughter shared, and rest earned. No person is perfect. Anger will flare. Doubt will whisper. Old habits will try to return. This is normal. When it happens, the path is not lost. It is the same. Sit, breathe, chant. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Let the mind settle. Let the heart rise. Then take the next step. Nichiren's guidance is steady. Do not be defeated. Even when falling, rise again. Even when failing, learn again. Even when lost, listen again. A high life condition is not the same as a perfect life. It is a way of living that keeps choosing courage, kindness, and wisdom again and again. Sometimes, while chanting, memories surface. Some are sweet, some are painful. It helps to welcome them with a gentle mind. The Buddha taught that seeing clearly is the beginning of freedom. Chanting is a light that allows this seeing. With light, shadows are no longer scary. They are just shapes that can be understood and held with care. Over time, self-respect grows, a deep, quiet respect that does not compare with others. It is the respect of a person who knows the inner life is rich and worthy, and that this worth is shared by all. A high life condition also means a wider circle of care. When the heart is tight, it can only see its own corner. When the heart is open, it sees neighbors, coworkers, strangers, and even those who are difficult. This does not mean saying yes to everything. It means seeing the dignity in each person and choosing wise actions. The Lotus Sutra praises those who practice for self and others together. Chanting in the morning can naturally lead to a kind word during the day, a helpful act, a patient ear. These small acts make strong bridges. They change the air of a room, the tone of a meeting, the mood of a home. When the day ends, chanting can be a warm blanket for the mind. It gathers the day's pieces and places them in order. Gratitude rises, lessons settle, worries loosen their grip. Sleep comes easier. The next day begins, and the bell inside is struck again. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. The sound moves through the body and out into the world, like ripples on a lake. Each ripple touches another. This is how a high life condition grows not only inside one person, but in families, schools, workplaces, and communities. In times of great change, these words remain a true friend. Nichiren writes that, the moment you chant, you summon the Buddha within. The Lotus Sutra confirms that enlightenment is not a far hill. It is the ground under the feet right now. Chanting is the step that makes that ground steady. With each step, life becomes more real, more tender, more brave. The mud of the world does not go away, but the lotus keeps blooming. The fragrance spreads. And in that fragrance, people breathe easier, see clearer, and remember who they are. Beings of deep value, able to create light, able to turn poison into medicine, able to live each day with a high and shining life condition through the steady rhythm of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo.